Annyeong. We're outside. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We outside. Let's talk about medical laboratory sciences. So medical laboratory sciences is the study of human fluids. I like to explain it this way. You know, when you go to a doctor and they say, okay, no, we need to check what's going on, whether you are deficient in anything, or when you pee in a cup, or even sometimes they take samples of your stool, right, and then they send it to the lab. Now, we are the people in the lab that are doing those tests to see if everything is okay, where everything is in order, and then like whether your glucose is in the right order, whether you have any bacteria in your urine, and so on and so forth. So that is what medical laboratory sciences is. That's what we basically do. No. But kind of yes. So medical laboratory sciences, here we're dealing with the patient's fluids. Let me say, we're dealing with the patient's fluids. We're dealing with patient's samples. Medicine, doctors actually deal like with the patient itself. So you're talking to the patient. As we don't talk to the patient, we only talk to the doctor, but we have the patient samples. Okay. At NUST, it's a 4-year degree. It's a 4-year and it's a bachelor degree. Yes, you think, okay, no, but 4 years is all honors. No. It's 4 years. It's a bachelor, but right after you can study. You can go into your masters already. You don't have to do another year for honors. No, you can go into your masters and you can specialize in what you want to do. Nothing. It's the same thing. So medical laboratory sciences is biomed. Biomedicine is just a different name. It's actually, but the medical laboratory sciences does have a slightly different curriculum than biomedicine. However, if you go and study biomedicine overseas or somewhere else, you'll basically be doing the same line of work. It's still basically the same scope of work, kind of, but yeah, kind of. But right now NUST is medical. It's NUST. Biomed is under the name Medical Laboratory Sciences at NUST. Obviously the lab, it's in the name. Like NIP is the Namibian Institute of Pathology. NIP is next to, or it's by Windhoek Central Hospital. So it's by there. But there are also private labs, right? Like you have Pathcare. Currently, right now, I'm just a second year. I'm still a second year in my first semester. What I can say is medical laboratory sciences is fun, right? If you have the passion for it. If you do not like working with patient samples, if you do not like what is actually going on in the human body, then obviously you won't like the course and you won't want to attend classes, and therefore leading to you failing. If you have a passion for it, then you can go forward. However, if it is challenging, the knowing part is challenging. The theory part of medical laboratory sciences can be a challenge. However, the practical part, it can be fun. It can be fun, right? But sometimes not everyone is good at the practical part than the theory part, right? More than the theory part. Sometimes people are good at actually practicing medical laboratory sciences than studying, and sometimes it's the other way around. To be honest, I feel like this course shouldn't be at NUST. Honestly, I feel like emergency and MLS shouldn't be on a campus like NUST, but it's cute sometimes. To be honest, this year this year there are a lot more students at NUST, and you can imagine, guys, you can imagine, wow, I see people sitting on the floor in the library sometimes. Wow, you can imagine. I like the security that it has. Like if I were to study this course, obviously, like in India they're offering medical laboratory sciences, even sometimes with a scholarship. You can check it out if you'd want to. However, it just doesn't, when you come back, obviously, another fact, right, that with this course, after you're done with your 4 years, you cannot go in industry until you've passed the board exam. So it's kind of like medicine in that case. Like you can't work until you pass the exam. And yeah, so there's that. Now studying in countries, like in other countries like India, coming back home, it can be a challenge to actually now start going in industry and start actually practicing. There's that whole thing where you have to register with the HPCNA. The nice thing now, if you were going abroad, coming back, you'll have to deal with that whole process and all of that alone. The nice thing about studying this course here is I don't have to deal with that alone. Actually, my lecturers handle that and my class rep handle that. The thing that I have to do is just pay a couple of bucks, which is once off, and just go back at the end of my study and say that I've finished or something along those lines. But and then once I pass the board exam, I can go immediately into industry. However, if you study it overseas, the process coming here, to be honest, it just scared me. It scared me, and hence why I just stayed here at home. But if you don't mind that, and that doesn't scare you of potentially not being able to practice, or your certification being kind of useless, honestly, I don't know the proceedings, but you can do more research on that. Do your research prior, and you know what you're getting yourself into. Then you can, then going overseas and stuff like that, it's not a disadvantage, but to me it was just a lot, and I didn't want to deal with that. So hence why I just stayed home. If you guys have any other questions about this course, how you can exactly get into it, what it's about, just put it down in the comment section, or you can DM me on my Instagram, or send me an email below. Auf Wiedersehen.